India won the toss. They decided to bowl first, but Quinton de Kock came out and hit the ball all across the park. There was a lot of dew. It felt like it was cold, and India bowled 2.4 extra overs only in wides. We are back at Cricbuzz Live. Shaun Pollock would have won his prediction game if it wasn't for the wides, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. And Joyda, Polly feels you should go change your jacket because it wasn't quite the innings that India would have liked.
I was thinking about it. But I think it'd be too much of a shock to all the viewers. So I had let it go. But I think, if, as I said, we've just watched India have its pants taken off with the batting. They're absolutely amazing performance from South Africa. And right from the very start, they started well. And I think they had a very nice kick at the end as well. 213 is a good total.
Quinton de Kock, 90 runs. Unfortunately, fell short of that 100, but he looked spectacular today, Polly. You were talking about how that IPL contract is up for grabs, but it's the World Cup which is in mind, and he looked like he was in great form.
Yeah, it's good to see him batting that way. He's one of those chaps that, then we saw the ribbon of the bat face and how it kind of comes from point, and it's a difficult person to bowl that because he can whip your leg side and kind of whip you off side when he's going good. And he was certainly going good today. I'll be very disappointed. Great bit of keeping there by Jadesh to get it onto the stumps and run him out. But when you're striking at basically 200, 5 4 7 6s, 46 balls, he was in for 100, wasn't he? He was kind of knocking it around at that stage. He was going to get to the milestone and then try and cut loose. But he played superbly. I mean, he was the backbone of the innings. There wasn't many other guys striking it properly around him. And then only once he got out, the guys who came in managed to get that same sort of firepower. But yeah, they've got to be happy with that. 213. You know, in my calculations, I didn't calculate for 16 wide, so that was where I probably got it a little bit wrong. But I think it's going to still be difficult. You know, when you see Arshdeep bowling all those wides, that kind of doesn't tell me due. But when you see Bumrah and Arshdeep bowling the full tosses at the back end, that tells me due, because then it's not coming out quite right out the hand. So I think it's going to be challenging for the spinners. George Linder, all the South African bowlers are going to have to work really hard. But 213 is competitive. It does also look like a good pitch. I don't think there's any gremlins there, any variable bounce, nothing to work with. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Joyda, Quinton de Kock is going to be a happy man, and he really is happy when he plays against India, be it his ODI record or his T20I record. Just look at those numbers there. He strikes at 93 in ODIs, 146 in T20Is, 1,191 runs in ODIs, and 444 runs against India.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention the number of runs he's got in India playing for the likes of the Mumbai Indians. He's absolutely super player, and that's the thing about it. He looks, you know, when he first came back, he didn't look like the same player because the lack of international practice, you know, just wasn't looking. Now he's just looking absolutely like the de Kock we know. And the de Kock we know is a destroyer of attacks because he has the ability to go straight, and his pickup shot that goes over mid-wicket square leg is absolutely, it's impossible to defend against, it's impossible to bowl against, as in to be able to stop him hitting those kind of shots. And if you stop him from hitting, he's got capable of going around off. I think he was superb. Just remember that the rest of the batters who were around him, he batted so well that the others who, you know, the pace, I mean, I was looking at it, Markram is 29 of 26. Brevis is 20 of 10. None of them are exactly setting the Thames on fire in terms of their run rates.
Yes.
It's just him. It's a run rate. He's batted at almost 200. And that's what's propelled this entire South African batting to where it was. Had he been there at the end, perhaps you could have got another 15, 20 runs. So I thought, in the end, Donovan Ferreira and David Miller did quite well for South Africa. But he being there, probably another 10, 15 runs might have been possible, especially at 16, 17, 18. I think they allowed Aksar to bowl a decent over. They allowed Shivam to bowl a decent over. Perhaps those would have been under more pressure.
Just like what Joyda is saying, Polly, Reza Hendricks started off 8 of 10, so that was a slow start. And then Markram came. He was happy to sit and watch because it was quite a fireworks show that Quinton de Kock put on. And then later towards the end, we saw Miller get on with those runs and Donovan Ferreira. But otherwise, if you saw Markram, he was a little slow. Reza Hendricks took his time as well. If they'd moved things around a little quicker, rotated the strike a little more, maybe they would have got another 20-20.
Yeah, they probably were just focused on trying to give Quinton the strike because of how well he was going. And I agree with Joy about the back end there. David Miller did well. I mean, he's not played much cricket. He came in there, hit his first few balls to the fence, kind of took the pressure off, and then Ferreira got it right in the last over. So I don't think they'll be disappointed. They might feel like they left 10 runs out there, but I think the bonus of all the wides kind of made up for it. So they'll feel like that's competitive. I mean, if they don't bowl many wides, if they bowl one or two, then they've got that massive advantage compared to what India has done. So it'd be interesting to see. I think it could be competitive. I don't know whether it's definitely enough. We'll have to see how India bat, but I think they'd be happy having that to defend.
Well, the IPL final was played here.
191, wasn't it?
191 it was. So 191 was enough for them to defend. So 213, we'll wait and watch. Although the dew factor seems to be, the dew seemed really bad today because we saw it probably from the 6th or 7th over onwards. The towels were out. We saw the ball really wet.
Yeah, buggy cam. Buggy cam is always the one you look for those wheels and to see whether the dew comes through. And it did look like it was present. Normally you get it in the second innings, don't you? Kind of only drifts in a little bit later. But it did seem to be prevalent. The key will be that they're pretty good these days. The drinks breaks, when a wicket falls, the staff are out there with the towels and the ropes and everything trying to make sure that they take it off. But it's still going to be challenging. As I said, if they were bowling those full tosses, it meant that something just wasn't right because Bumrah doesn't bowl 7 full tosses out of his last 2 overs if there's not something playing a part.
That's going to be a joy factor because we haven't seen that happen, I don't think, in his entire career. Joyda, when we look at that bowling attack, we see Arshdeep, second highest number of runs given by Arshdeep, 54 today, and a lot was discussed about the wides. He bowled 7 wides in that over. That over just didn't seem to get over. Varun Chakravarthy, was the pick of the bowlers there. He picked up those 2 wickets, but otherwise, pretty much everyone was struggling with their due, especially Arshdeep and Bumrah today, Joyda.
Absolutely. And if you look at it, Bumrah towards the end, I mean, Bumrah had a really decent first 2 overs. I think he went to the end. Arshdeep was interesting because Arshdeep's main problem was that middle over. He came back for that 11th over and he decided to bowl the wide Yorker line. And once inside the wide Yorker line, you've got to get it absolutely right. Now, Arshdeep normally can deliver the ball where and when he wants to. He has that accuracy normally. He just did not get it right. And once you don't get it right, he could have adjusted because, once you bowled your second or third no ball, your white ball, you're thinking that, okay, maybe I should adjust now. This may not be working for me. But he just went on and it went on to bowl so many of them. So I think that's the thing, that 7 wides, the way that they happened, I think Arshdeep somewhere, maybe the pressure of playing in home conditions, playing in front of his home crowd, he had something to achieve. So it's been a difficult day for him, but he's a fine bowler. I think sure he'll come back from it.
He sure is a fighter. We know he always fights back. But Polly, conditions like this, when the wides aren't stopping, when the ball is kind of slippery in your hand, what is the easy way out for a bowler? Is you go cross seam? Do you just say, let me just get it, let my line and length come back into place?
Yeah, you can go cross seam, and obviously you want to try the different variations of hitting the deck. Because if you hit the deck, it's only you got to land at 15 meters, not 22, where it can get into trouble. But it's such a fine line these days, when they try and get it far away from the batters and out of their reach to be able to whack it. That little line where you're going for, if you're off. And then you start to doubt yourself a little bit. You get to the back of your mark and you think, gosh, come on, you got to get it right. And you don't get it right. And you even try to follow the other side and went down the leg side. It's just one of those nights. It's not too much to read into. You sometimes have a batter walk in there. He gets a full toss, hits it, can't hit it anywhere, hits it down the throat or doesn't manage to get off the mark. It's part and parcel of it. And it'll just have to be one of those ones you write off, particularly if they win. If they don't win, then maybe he needs to have a look.
But Joyda, it looked like Varun was playing on another ground because he came out 4 overs, 29 runs and he got those 2 wickets. He was getting those wickets when no one was managing to get them. What did he do differently? Because it was the same ball. It was wet. The dew was out there even for him.
Yeah, I think first off, if you're a bowler and you come in and you get a wicket of your first ball, it just sets the tone for the day. You think you're going to have a good day. And I think if you look at it, 2 wickets, you have to say that, you can credit a 3rd wicket to him because he also got that, Jitesh, that fantastic opportunity. First ball of his over again, Jitesh did well. So the interesting part of it is that once you get that wicket of your first ball, one of them was obviously he took it himself. The other was thanks to Jitesh. The rest of the over, a new batter's coming in, there's a bit of lack of confidence, and you're a mystery bowler anyway. It's not as if people are used to facing you. So they're going to take 2-3 balls where they'll sort of play you and see whether they can do or get to the other end. And I think he played to that. He played marvelously, and he's a very, very intelligent cricketer. So I think he plays to his strengths. The other thing is that even with all that due, he knows what balls he can bowl if he can't grip it as well he normally can. Because he's got 6, 7, 10 variations of the balls he uses. And I think he just changes to his variations, which he can control in times when there's due. And he's smart about it. And I think he played the conditions really well. Having said that, the other guy I have to say who did well in this is Shivam Dubey.
Yes.
For the 2 overs he was given, he did a fairly decent job of just sticking to the basics.
Yeah, and Aksa didn't finish his overs, and I think that had to do with the nature of the ball. It must have been a bit slippery, so they'd have asked him, and he probably thought, well, I'm not comfortable. That's why Shubman Dubey did step up. He had to, because of the nature of the conditions and the due situation. So, as Joyce said, he did great.
But Polly, do you think the lengths that India bowled, especially in the first 6, 8 overs, do you think South Africa should do something differently?
Yeah, I think they would be better aware of what plans they need to employ. I think back of a length disappeared on this ground.
Yes.
We saw in the last game where the ball was standing up nicely in Katak. It was back of a length. If you held that length, it was difficult. It was like steep, the bounce. So it was difficult to get away, whereas today it was coming on. So if you just drag your length down, people picked up, you saw how many sixes went square of the wicket. Yeah. So South Africa have to be on point. They'll have to be a little bit fuller. They'll have to make sure that they get the ball a chance to swing. Otherwise, it's the slow ball bounces and the proper bounces. Anything that's just whacked in back of a length, I'm sure they'll get whacked away. So that's always the advantage of bowling second, is you get to assess. They'll have very similar kind of stuff to which we've just shown you from an analytical perspective, where they'll see which length of delivery was bad and they'll adjust.
Joyda, we get a chance to assess as well because we didn't do very well with our prediction games, although, Polly, you would have won if it wasn't for the wides.
It's not fair. I mean, you guys could have told me that your Indian guys were going to bowl 16 wides. You could have told me.
All right, so you tell us how many wides the South Africans might bowl. And
no, they're only going to bowl 2. They're going to bowl 2 wides in the first, so it'll be 6.2 overs. What do you think they'll get?
Joyda, go first.
40. No, I think India is going to go hard early. I think it's going to be 57 is the word I'm going for. Number I'm going for.
Yeah, I'm not far off that. I'll go for 52.
I was going to say 52.
Oh.
I was really going to say 52. 57, 52, I will go higher and say 59. And hope that they go higher, because 214 to win is what India needs. So we'll wait and watch and see if we get close to our prediction games. We'll wait and watch and see if the Indian top 3 get off to a fiery start, because that's what India will want. And we will be back at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live.